In the small town of Willow Creek, nestled in the heart of rural America, there was a quaint little shop called the Quill and Ink. The store was owned by an eccentric old man named Henry, who was renowned for his peculiar ability to craft beautiful and intricate writing instruments. Among his collection, one typewriter stood out from the rest, a magnificent machine with a gleaming silver body and keys that shone like polished ebony. This was no ordinary typewriter. It was said that whenever someone typed on its keys, their words would come to life in ways both wondrous and terrifying. The locals whispered about the tales of those who had used the typewriter, how their stories had brought prosperity or ruin, depending on the intent behind them. The shop's reputation drew the attention of a young writer named Sarah, who had always dreamed of making it big with her writing. She had heard tales of the magical typewriter and was determined to try her luck. Henry, sensing her curiosity, handed her the machine with a knowing smile. "Be careful what you write," he warned. "The stories that come out of this typewriter have a way of taking on lives of their own." Sarah's first story was a romance about a dashing hero and his beautiful love interest. She typed away with reckless abandon, pouring her heart and soul into the tale. As she pressed the final key, the room seemed to hold its breath. The words on the page began to shimmer, like flames dancing in the darkness. Suddenly, the door swung open, and a handsome young man strode into the shop. His eyes locked onto Sarah, and he smiled with a chiseled intensity that left her breathless. He introduced himself as Alexander, and they talked for hours, lost in conversation. But as the days passed, strange things began to happen. People around town started acting out of character, mimicking the actions of Alexander from Sarah's story. The once reclusive mayor became a charming ladies' man, while the reclusive librarian transformed into a charismatic leader. It was as if the typewriter had unleashed a wave of alternate realities, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. Sarah was torn between amazement and terror. She had never intended for her story to become so real. As she struggled to regain control over her narrative, Henry appeared at her side, his eyes twinkling with knowing. "The typewriter is a force beyond your comprehension," he said gently. "But don't worry, I'll help you learn to harness its power." Together, they embarked on a journey of discovery, exploring the limits of the typewriter's magic and learning to navigate its unpredictable consequences. They wrote tales of courage and compassion, hope and redemption. With each story, the world around them began to shift, reflecting the values and themes that Sarah and Henry had imbued into their words. However, not all stories came out as intended. A tale of revenge turned a childhood bully into an unyielding foe, causing chaos in the town's social hierarchy. Another story about a mysterious stranger brought forth a sense of unease, fostering fear and mistrust among the residents. As Sarah struggled to keep her narrative on track, she realized that the typewriter was not just a tool for creating stories, but also a mirror reflecting the darkest aspects of human nature. It revealed the secrets we try to hide, the fears we dare not confront, and the desires we struggle to admit. Despite the challenges, Sarah remained committed to mastering the typewriter's power. With Henry's guidance, she learned to listen to its whispers, sensing when her words were veering off course. Together, they crafted stories that inspired growth, sparked creativity, and brought people together in unexpected ways. The Typewriter of Fate became a double-edged sword, cutting both ways. It brought prosperity to those who wrote with kindness and empathy, but also unleashed destruction on those who harbored malice or selfish desires. As the years passed, Sarah's name became synonymous with magical writing. People would travel from far and wide to hear her tales, hoping that they might capture a fraction of her gift. But she never forgot the lessons she had learned from Henry about the responsibility that came with wielding such power. In the end, it was not the typewriter itself, but Sarah's own character that defined its true purpose. The machine remained a tool, waiting to be used by those with hearts pure and intentions true. As long as writers continued to tap into their deepest selves, the typewriter would continue to whisper stories that came alive in ways both wondrous and unforgettable.